Coming up on Sports Path, the North St. Paul Polars take on the Stillwater Ponies in the 4-3A volleyball finals in a rematch of the 2017 matchup.
And the Mahtomedi soccer teams both did well this season. We take a look at the boys section final game coming right up.
And finally, 5A football, a rematch of last year's snowy contest right here on Sports Path.
Touchdown, Tartan as they strike.
Welcome inside the Sports Pass studio. Sam Erickson alongside John Miller. And John, we have an amazing show for you tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Sam. You know, this episode's filled with our Fab Four teams in the playoffs. They did not disappoint, Sam. It was amazing.
Yeah, you're darn right. I got to say, since I've been working here at SCC, this might be the best fall that our Fab Four teams have had in the postseason. Got a show packed of highlights, got standings to get to. So a really full show, but I think we got to get to that social media montage like we do at the beginning of every show. Let's get into it. All right, well, to start out our social media montage tonight, we jump back to October 24th, where White Bear Lake Cross Country was at the section tournament and finished in third place. Trigg Solberg and Isaac Maruyama both made the state meet. Way to go, Bears. Not sure if he's lost there, not sure where he's running. But
where's the competition?
I'm pretty sure that was on the course. Yeah, he was blown by the competition there as well.
Yeah, next we jump forward a few days. Let's look at this. Are those hockey players? Can't really see that right. Yes, hockey is just around the corner. Girls practice started on October 30th for the North Tartan TNT Co-op girls hockey team. We have one of their games already on our schedule. We will broadcast that on November 27th, live against Stillwater. Like I said, that'll be live right here on SCC Community, so don't miss it.
Yeah, for sure. Been following that North Tartan program since they started that co-op a few years ago. Now let's go back to fall sports. Section finals for volleyball have actually concluded. We're back on November 1st. The North Activities Twitter account tweeted from the Section 4-3A finals. It was a rematch, Stillwater versus North St. Paul. Of course, we mentioned we were there as well, and we're going to have highlights later on in the show, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, now finally a tweet from our very own Alex Westad. He says, decidedly less stoked tonight than from a year ago. And if you remember back in 2017 section final game, Tartan matched up against Mahtomedi in a very snowy game, about 8 inches of snow on the ground. Super fun to broadcast. Like I said, but there's a bit less snow for this one. It was an absolutely spectacular game. We got the highlights later on in the show. You won't want to miss them.
That's right. Great matchup last year in the snow. Had a couple snowy games of football we broadcast here on SCC this fall and one last fall. Love to see that. But that will just about wrap things up here for social media montage. If you watch the show, tweet at us at SCC TV Sports, and you might just see that tweet right here on Sports Path and part of the montage. And I guess with that, we are done with the social media montage.
All right, let's dive right into some football. We'll get the Suburban Gray standings. Mahtomedi and Tartan tied at the top of the Suburban Gray standings, but you might not know, even if one team in the conference beats the other one, it's still a tie if they finish at the top. So Mahtomedi and Tartan are your Suburban Gray standings co-conference champions.
And switching over to the Suburban Gold, no need to go real deep here. North St. Paul, you see, finished at the bottom of the conference and did not win a game this season. Coach Gene Tieglin had high hopes at the beginning of the year, but couldn't quite get anywhere with the team this year. Always tough in your first year at a new school. We wish them luck for the next season. I'm sure it'll be a little bit better than 2018.
It's all downhill from here, Sam. And after not winning a game for almost 3 years in the Metro East, White Bear Lake went 4-4. Despite that, they finished at the bottom of the Metro East standings with a conference record. Woodbury was the Metro East champs. Next step is to win a game during the postseason.
That's right. Nice story there, that White Bear team winning a couple of games, and that was a very tough conference. Let's take a look at how some of our Fab Four teams did in section play. We're talking Section 4 5A, where Mahtomedi got that #1 seed. Tartan got the 2 seed, even though Tartan did beat Mahtomedi in the regular season. Now both teams got a first round bye, and Mahtomedi took out 5 seed St. Paul Highland Park 50-30, while Tartan beat St. Paul Central 55-0 in the semis to get 2 of our Fab Four teams into the championship. It was a rematch of the Snow Bowl from last year. 1 seed versus 2 seed, all at Mahtomedi. Big game. We were there, and John, I think you got those highlights.
Yeah, let's roll those highlights. Both these teams coming sizzling hot. That's why there is no snow on the ground this year for the 4-5A finals. Starts out poorly for Tartan. Opening kick, Antoine Kimmins tries to find some room, has nowhere to go, gets tackled, short of the 20, not good starting position for the Titans, so they're unable to score on their opening drive. Now stalemate in the first quarter near the end. Mahtomedi's get a little momentum. They pitch it out to Eric York, ball on the ground. Tartan comes up with it after a few yards, so Tartan's going the other way. Let's see what they can do here. Same drive, almost at the end of the first, pass out to Kimmins, stiff arms the defender. He gets down the sideline, failed missed extra point, so 6-0. Titans had the lead over the Zephyrs. Now midway through the second quarter, Tartan will actually be looking to score again. Great defense the whole first half. They get to the 1-yard line. Ball comes loose. Mahtomedi gets it, stuffing the Tartans from getting into the end zone and getting a 2-score lead. So Mahtomedi goes 3 and out, however, after the turnover. So Tartan gets another chance. Handoff to Tim Owen, blocking out front. Pancaking the defender. Owen gets into the end zone. It's 12-0 Titans, trying to get those 2 points back after the missed 2-point conversion, or the missed extra point. They don't get the 2-point conversion. Now Tartan defense playing way too well. Arlenson throws it into the end zone near the end of the first half, and he gets picked off. Huge interception by the Titans. So we'll go into the third quarter. Arlenson finds Tyler Tangwall. He gets tackled inside the 5 near the 2-yard line as they're looking to get their first points on the board in this game. And now Owen hands it off to Bjork. He takes it in for a 1-yard touchdown run that puts Mahtomedi on their board for the first points of the game. Can they come back? Tartan has the ball now. Solomon Whalen decides to keep it himself, and he gets absolutely decked by linebacker Dean Trowbridge. A price he pays for keeping the ball on the rush. Now unable to score on that rush. Moving to fourth quarter where Tartan has the biggest gain of the game. Deep ball to Antoine Kimmins. They're down at the 6-yard line of Mahtomedi. Now Whalen will keep it himself. Quarterback sneak up the middle. Touchdown. 19-7 lead now. Tartan two touchdown lead over the Zephyrs. Now Mahtomedi looks to strike back. They move it down the field past to Hadley near the first down marker on the sideline. They keep moving, but Dorian Singer almost intercepts the pass from Arlenson right there. Hadley gets his arm there, just altering the defender a little bit. Now speaking of dropping the ball, what might have been another touchdown, Hadley gets the ball knocked out right at the 1-yard line. Turnover on downs. He eventually gets a misconduct play on that as well, 15-yard penalty. Now Tartan looking to seal the deal. They fumble the ball on the handoff. Mahtomedi's got new life with 3:43 left to go. Now Arlenson keeps at the 1-yard line for a controversial touchdown that might have not made it in. The refs called it a touchdown. They're only down by 5. Trying the onside kick. Tartan comes away with it. So all Tartan has to do is run out the clock here. Mahtomedi does eventually get the ball back. They'll air it out to basketball star Hadley. Picked off by Kimmins. That'll seal the deal. Tartan beats Mahtomedi 19-14. That's Tartan's second win at Mahtomedi since that stadium is open. And you know what? They played a fantastic season. They're moving on to the state tournament, Sam. You know, what a game, what a finish. The Tartans' first state tournament berth in school history since it opened in 1971, Sam. Can you believe that?
That is quite an impressive achievement. Tartan knocking off Mahtomedi twice. You know, not justifying that 2 seed. They should have been the 1 seed. I feel like they felt disrespected able to get that big win against Mahtomedi. Huge win for that school. Props to them. Gotta love it. Tartan's been looking really good in a lot of different sports the past couple of years. So.
Yeah, they were clearly the better team that whole game, Sam. And, even in the first win of the year, they just dominated Mahtomedi. They had no answer for Tim Owen.
Great stuff there. So now let's take a look at that state tournament bracket where we'll see that unlucky for the Tartan Titans is they're going to have to face off against undefeated St. Thomas Academy. That game will be this Saturday at noon at Shakopee High School. We will carry that game courtesy of Town Square Television, shout out, and we will air that game at 3 p.m. on Saturday as well as again on Monday at 1 p.m.
Yeah, so now let's move on to Class 6A. After having a bad conference record, that meant that White Bear Lake got the 18th seed in Class 6A state tournament. Only 31 teams in that class. They faced off against the 15th seed Maple Grove, and it was a game they would pretty much like to forget. They lost 28-0. The Bears could not stop the Maple Grove running back, Evan Hall. He had 30 carries for 302 yards. That's 10.2 yards per carry. And, 3 touchdowns. That Maple Grove team is known for their running. They don't pass the ball. Have a day, young man. Evan Hall. Maple Grove finished with 366 yards on the ground. They lost in the next round, however, to Lakeville North, the number 2 seed. So, but, not a bad season for White Bear Lake, Sam.
No, absolutely. After a couple tough years, picking up some wins, and that Maple Grove team very tough. Tartan's still going. But that'll wrap it up for football. We're going to have to quickly switch over to soccer, and we'll see how the girls' Metro East regular season standings ended up. We see Hill Murray edge Mahtomedi to win the Metro East after the Pioneers beat the Zephyrs 2-0 in their only regular season meeting. Mahtomedi, of course, the defending Class A state champions. Then we see North and Tartan finishing at the bottom of the Metro East.
Yeah, Tartan not getting a win. Let's see if the girls are better in the Suburban East. Over in the Suburban East, we got White Bear Lake. They finished with a very respectable 5-2-1 record. Just one loss off conference champs, East Ridge. Stillwater and Woodbury both finished 5-1-2, just above the Bears in the standings.
All right, we'll switch in back to Single A. We got the Section 4 Single A section bracket. I believe we got that coming up. There it is. Mahtomedi got the 2 seed after Hill Murray won the Metro East Conference, so Hill Murray's going to be your 1 seed. Both teams cruised through their quarterfinal and semifinal matchups, with the Zephyrs actually winning 9-0, as you see there, against St. Agnes in their semifinal matchup. That led the way to the big rematch in the section championship. Mahtomedi defending their state title from a year ago, and of course, the Zephyrs got the big win, 3-2 over the Pioneers for some sweet, sweet revenge from the regular season. They kept their hope of back-to-back state titles alive. All 5 goals in the game were scored in the second half, with Sydney Panic getting the big game winner with 16 seconds to go. Talk about clutch.
Yeah, talk about clutch, Sam. As you said, this gets them to continue on into the state tournament that got Mahtomedi the number 1 seed as they look for their second state tournament title in the last 2 years. So we'll take a look at that bracket where we see the Zephyrs, as I just said, getting mad respect after being the 2nd seed in their section. They got the 1 seed in the state tournament. Yeah, they rolled over Bemidji 6-0 in the quarterfinals. They got by Holy Angels 2-1 in the semis. And for the 2nd straight year, your Mahtomedi Zephyrs going to be state champs. And they beat Orono in the championship again this year with the game winner coming in double overtime. Way to go, ladies. We're all proud of you over here at SEC TV. Isn't that right, Sam?
Absolutely. Not sure how I follow that up with having to go back to section tournaments, but let's do it. This is Section 4 2A, where we got White Bear Lake. We see they were seeded the highest of our Fab 4 schools. They made it past the quarterfinals, but eventually lost 2-1 to East Ridge in the semis. North was blanked by East Ridge in the quarters, and Tartan lost the play-in game to North St. Paul. So none of our Fab 4 schools made it to the state tournament in Class 2A. That 2A title was won by Minnetonka, if you were curious about that.
Yeah, now let's look at the Metro East standings. Mahtomedi and North St. Paul both finished 7-1, so they're your co-conference champs. Tartan went 0-8 in conference, so they had a terrible year this year. Let's take a look at the Suburban East now.
Yeah, and in the Suburban East, Stillwater won the conference, running the table 8-0. They're basically the number 1 ranked team in state all year long. So Stillwater, your champs. On the other hand, White Bear Lake finished at the bottom at 1-6-1. and had a bit of a down year, going 2-10-2 overall.
Yeah, now let's look at the 4 single A bracket. Moving on to the postseason, Matamidi, the number 1 seed, got by St. Paul Harding 5-0, and St. Paul Washington 2-1 to reach the final against 7 seed Hill Murray. Hill Murray had been in good form coming into this one as they upset the 2 seed and the 3 seed to reach the section championship. And we covered that game right here on SCC. You know we always got the highlights.
We do got the highlights. I got the highlights. There's the informed Hill Murray Pioneers, 7 seed, 9-1 on the year, and the very good Matamidi Zephyrs, 15-2. Matamidi playing at home. We're hoping for the win. They're hoping to get to the state tournament just like the girls. And early on, Matamidi with a great opportunity off the corner. The header goes off the crossbar a couple inches lower, and we'd have a tie, or excuse me, a 1-0 Matamidi lead. This one a little bit later in the first half. Long throw-in, gets away from the goalkeeper Bates, and eventually is just sent home by one of the Hill Murray Pioneer players. And the 7 seed Pioneers have the 1-0 lead. Now later on in the first half, Bates makes the save, coughs it up a little bit, but able to pounce on it to keep it at 1-0. Now with about 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half, nice through ball, but the keeper from Hill Murray comes off the line, able to make the save as Pilarski for Matamidi was on the chase. Here's Pilarski again, cutting inside. A couple defenders converge, but the ball rolls to Helio De La Torre, and if you're Matamidi, that's the guy you want, and that's the left foot you want on the ball. He loops it up and over the keeper, and with his 17th goal on the season, the Zephyrs are tied this thing up at 1, 4 minutes into the second half. Now later into the second half, ball rolls around, but we'll have a throw-in. Here's a throw-in a couple minutes later. Another long throw-in. Bates, not sure what to do with it, kind of gets caught in between, does get a mitt to it, and eventually the ball is cleared out to safety. Now coming up the wing is Matamidi. Cross into the middle, but cleared out in desperate fashion by a Hill Murray defender. 17 minutes to go. Shot from outside the box. Big looper just under the bar. Goalie does a great job to keep it out, but it falls right to Ethan Peterson. Credit to Peterson being Johnny on the spot right there, and he's able to bungle it over the net, over the line into the net to make it 2-1 Matamidi late into that second half. Even later, 7.5 minutes ago. Didn't see this one on screen, but Ben Bonin gets the red card. Not happy about it, so Hill Murray's going to have to finish the rest of this game with only 10 players. Matamidi looking good, less than a minute to go. Up 11 players to 10, and they're going to be up 3-1 as Helio De La Torre gets an easy chance one-on-one with the keeper, tucks it away. De La Torre's 18th goal on the season. He's been instrumental for this program ever since he stepped in the door. I've seen him play in goal over the years, and he does it all for Matamidi this year, definitely on the score sheet more than anything. The Zephyrs will get the 3-1 win. Our Mike Peden talked with Helio De La Torre and Ethan Peterson after the big win.
Joining me are the victorious Helio De La Torre and Ethan Peterson from the Matamidi Zephyrs. Helio, 2 goals tonight, 18 this season, and you got things going for this team when they were down 1-0. How did you rally back from that deficit?
I told my team we have to fight back. We have to get everything, never give up. Our goal was to make it a state this year. We never gave up.
How gratifying is it after coming close a couple of years, coming up short in section play?
It was very heartbreaking the last couple of years, losing semifinal, final, and then upcoming senior year. I told myself, you know what, I'm going to work really hard for this team. I'll do everything to make it to the state tournament.
This game in part defined by mistakes, specifically who cashed in on them, and all 3 of your goals were the result of capitalizing on those miscues. What makes the Zephyrs team so opportunistic?
Team effort. We told each other that we will work together. We will fight our way up, just like always. Never give up. You know what, everything was just team effort. I think the coach pushed us really hard this year, and I'm very grateful to have him as our coach too.
And Ethan, you took advantage of one of those miscues. When Denzeo misplayed a lob, you were right there and put it in. When you saw that ball coming your way, was that your thought?
It was my thought just to get the goal, just to go to the net. Our coach has been saying all year just how we need to go to the net and just finish those rebounds, and I just happened to put in the effort and get the goal.
Your teammate talks about never giving up. You know, this Matamidi team, only 5 clean sheets, so you've had some lapses defensively, but most of the time you're able to fight your way back. Tonight, another example of that. What makes this Matamidi team so resilient?
Heart. Everyone just puts in 100% effort all the time. Sometimes we get decent starts, but we eventually come back for the win.
And what does it mean for you to be part of a state tournament team after a few years where you came up short in section play?
It's great. It feels great. We just got to come out there right when state starts.
And with that being next week, how are you going to enjoy this NBA weekend now that you've got that gold medal around you?
You know what? I'll forever cherish this moment forever. It was very, oh gosh, I'm very speechless right now. It's a dream come true.
You don't sound speechless to me.
No, but like, oh my God, I just love this team. I love everything about this team. The boys, they're like my family.
What about you, Ethan?
I definitely agree with yeah, everyone just works hard, and then we'll take this. We still have stuff this weekend we'll probably do, but like we just got to be ready.
So Matamidi gets the big W in the section final to reach the state tournament for the first time since 2014. Let's see how they did.
Yes, let's. Matamidi, they got the 3 seed. They took on Bemidji in the quarterfinals, and unfortunately, Matamidi lost to Bemidji 1-0 in that quarterfinal matchup. But congrats to Matamidi for a great season. Now, how about both the girls and boys soccer teams over at Matamidi making that state tournament?
Amazing. Every sport Matamidi is good at. They got a good sports program in there, just all around at that school. Now back to Section 4 AA. Quick look at the bracket. White Bear Lake got the 8th seed and played the number 1 seed Stillwater. They played them really close again this year. The Bears lost by 1 last year in the sections, and they lost by 1 this year. So Stillwater went on to win the Class 2A state title with a double overtime win over Duluth East. So for soccer, some great success coming from Matamidi. Both teams going to state. Girls won it all for the 2nd year in a row. Let's volley it over, Sam.
That's right, bump, set, spike. Of course, North St. Paul went undefeated in the Metro East, winning the conference. The Polars had another dominating regular season this year. They finished 24-2 overall. So congrats to North St. Paul. Tartan's looking good as well. They finished above 500 for the first time in a couple years.
Yeah, so let's
Yeah, over here in the Suburban East, we'll take a look at White Bear Lake. White Bear Lake, as you see, maybe missed them. They're at the bottom of the conference standings, 0-8 in a very tough conference, and 5-20 overall this year. And now we'll take a look at the Section 4-3A volleyball tournament bracket. And you see Tartan got the 4 seed. They were upended by Centennial in their opening matchup. North St. Paul got the 2 seed. They got past Woodbury in the quarterfinals, took out long-term rivals Roseville 3-1 in the semis, and that paved the way for a rematch of last year's section championship against Stillwater. Stillwater was the 1 seed, of course, so 1 versus 2. And you know, we were there for that game, and I think, John, you're going to handle these highlights.
Yeah, you're dang right. Rematch of the 2017's 4-3A final. Ponies won last year. Let's see about this year. The Polars are a different team with a lot of the same players. Stillwater goes up 5-2 in the first set. Whittington finds the hole on the floor for her 3rd kill already. Polars will eventually keep neck and neck through and pull ahead 13-12 as Yaisa Franco taps it down after a poor return by the Ponies. Now the Polars will go on quite a scoring run as Lauren Stedman will eventually tip this one here. Blockers can't keep it out on her side, so point Polars. They got a 20-14 lead over the number 1 seed Stillwater Ponies. Now the Polars end up storming back for the win in the first set, 25-17 after Franco blocks the big spike by star player Whittington. Stillwater is the higher seed, but this one's going to be close as North St. Paul takes the first set. So first set goes the way of North St. Paul. Moving to the second set, Rodriguez from way back with the kill. She gets that spike to go down. North goes up by 2-0 early on, but that pretty much stops it there. Reese Kohler has a big kill, putting the Ponies up 10-4. Ponies looking dominant in the second half. The Ponies got their groove back. Now Lauren Stedman tries to rally the Polars back to the lead. And she finds the empty spot on the near side, 11-13 now. But Lucy Zahler, she'll cap off a 4-point scoring streak for a 17-11 lead with the service ace. Nice spot right there to put that spike down. Now, don't cut out the Polars just yet. Rodriguez shows some accuracy, bringing the Polars to only a 1-point deficit. Little did they know that that would be their last point in the set. Ponies will eventually win this one 25-20 on a hitting error by Stenman that just goes a little long. So we're tied at 1 set apiece. We head to the third set. Neck and neck again in the third. Maddie Whittington hits the net and the Polars tie it. This one is 10-9. Not tied at all. Now Stillwater regains control. Ponies wind up for a big spike, but instead they tip it over the defenders. They got a 21-15 lead over the Polars. Can the Polars come back? Whittington, once again, calling her name all night. She gets the tip over for the third set win. And that's a 2-1 lead after 3 sets. How will it end in the fourth? Can the Polars force that, that tough 5th set? Ponies start with the lead in the fourth, 6-2 after Whittington spikes it over the net. Polars have some work to do. And now the Ponies will hit it too far, and the Polars tie it up at 11. Got to play this one to 25. 5th set's only to 15. North doesn't get there firstly until another mistake from the Ponies. This one's out the backcourt again. North leads 19-18. 6 more points and they force a 5th set. Their season goes on. Polars send it over for a set point. They win it 25-19, forcing the match to that 5th set. This one, like I said, 15 points. Who will get there first? 5th set starts out a little close. That's exactly what you love to see between these two teams. Tied at 2-2 after a big spike from King. North St. Paul looking good to start. Stillwater goes up 12-4 on a kill, and the Polars are struggling in this one. Only playing to 15 in the set. Like we said, it'll make it hard to make a comeback. North St. Paul needs 11. Stillwater only needs 3. And with only a point to go, the Ponies end it here, and they head to the state tournament with the service ace. They win the third set 15-5. The Polars were close, but when it mattered most, they just couldn't pull it away. But that continues to be a great rivalry between those two teams. Sam, it used to be Roseville, but they're not doing too well, so they handed the baton off to Stillwater. And I got a feeling that's going to be quite the matchup here for the next few years.
You got that right. Your heart has to go out to North St. Paul, making that section championship so many years in a row, but not ending up on the positive side of the result year in, year out. But definitely credit to that program. Different coaches, different players, different years. They keep coming back year in, year out and rebuild, and I'd not be surprised if they're in that section championship a year from now.
They really got some great athletes over there. And speaking of athletes, let's get to my athletes of the week.
I like that segue, John.
Yeah, right? We had lots of great playoff standouts, but you might think for my male athlete of the week, I'm going to go with Tim Owen. You'd be dead wrong. I'm going with Antoine Kimmins. He had 4 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown reception. And then he had the game-winning interception. Had to go with him. He's been great all season out there on the football field, and you know what? I can't wait to see what he does in the state tournament game. And you dang well know I can't wait to see him ball out this winter for that North St. Paul basketball team. Now for my female athlete of the week, athletes of the week, how could I not go with the Matamidi girls soccer team? You gave it your all. You gave it everything you had all year, the blood, the sweat, the tears. You pulled out that W, giving you back-to-back state championships. How awesome is that? That's freaking sweet. Congratulations, young ladies, on seasons you will never forget. Enjoy that and go get that three-peat next year so we can put you up there as a high school dynasty, the Warriors of girls high school soccer. And with that, that's it for my athletes of the week for the fall season.
Well, John, I think we packed things maybe a little too tight in this episode, but we got it all in. You got your athletes of the week, and you got your paper throw. I think it's time to go. Not going to have another episode this November. We'll be back December 5th for some winter sports action. Thanks, everybody.
Weston.